Whenever I've been able to clearly visualize something happening in my future, and I mean vividly clear, there's been a 100% certainty of that taking place. I'll give you the first example. I remember during COVID lockdowns, me and my mom would go for walks every single day because there was nothing else to do. We'd walk the dogs. That was our routine. And just about every single day during that time, all I was doing was studying macroeconomics, and I was reaching out to people. And I had already committed to not going to college. And this was before senior year even started. I just knew that all of this stuff was going to happen. And what I told my mom is, I'm going to find a way to work for George Gammon. That was the guy's whose logo I eventually got tattooed on my leg, took my first ever flight from Boston to Arizona to meet him, and I started working with him. But that was about 7 months after I'd already told my mom that I was going to be working with him. And every single day I would try and explain quantitative easing to her and how the banking system worked. Every single day we would be talking about how badly I want to work with him. And at nighttime, I could visualize it. I almost knew what I would be doing. The same thing happened with one of my more recent clients, this guy, Ken McElroy. I was actually making videos. There's a video that I made, my exact plan to go from $10,000 to $50,000 per month, that I made in August of last year, where I was talking about the way that I think I'm going to do that is there's this guy, Ken McElroy, that I can provide a bunch of value for. And I'm going to approach him and tell him, here's what I think we should do. Here's why we should do it. Here are the steps that we should take. How about I move to Arizona and I'll kick ass and we will crush it. And guess what? That's actually exactly what happened. I started working with him. I moved out to Arizona and I started to do really well with him. I can now see the next few years so exceptionally clearly. I know exactly what I need to do to get there, the steps I need to take, the things I need to do. I don't know if it's manifestation, meditation, prayer. I don't fucking know. And I don't really care. I just know that I can see these things really, really clearly in my head. And when I can see those and I can understand what the overarching goal and what the mission that I'm trying to accomplish is, it's very, very easy to get there. It's very hard to get somewhere if you don't know where you're going. When you are just blindly going down a path with no real objective, well, how do you know if you accomplish something? That's how I used to be. I never had a clear path. This is actually the clearest I've ever been on what I need to do on a day-to-day basis. Once you start to work towards those goals, I've never once not accomplished what I was trying to. And I would say that's for most people. It's not just, oh, wow, I'm going to win the lottery. And I believe it really, really hard. I mean, gamblers think that they're almost always going to win. But you have to put in extreme amounts of work. And I'm still working every single second of every single hour. I just know what I need to do to get what I eventually want. Now I do this for virtually every single business meeting that I have. I had 2 exceptionally large meetings this month, and I prepared probably 10 hours for each of those 1-hour meetings. And I crushed it for both of them. But that's a lot of time. For 1 hour, I was doing a 10-to-1 amount of time spent prepping for a 1-hour meeting. And most meetings, I'll at least prepare for 10 to 15 minutes. I'll just think, how do I want this meeting to go? What's going to happen? And I just try and think about what is going to happen before it occurs. And when that happens, I don't know why. I don't really care why. I'm not trying to diagnose exactly what's going on inside my body when this happens. I just know everything gets a hell of a lot better and everything is easier. So I'm just going to keep on doing it. And you know what happens? It actually gets easier to clearly see what's going to happen. I think the biggest way and why I'm able to do this much more now is because I'm spending significantly less time on social media and consuming information. I spend most of my time now producing. I'm talking to people, trying to express the ideas that I know, and I'm actually learning something and then doing it and taking actionable steps. It's not just passive consumption, which is kind of draining your body away from any creativity. I'm spending my nights and my car rides and my walks and my runs and the gym sessions instead of listening to music or watching Netflix or scrolling on my phone. I'm spending them thinking deeply. Every single car ride, every single time I'm walking, every single night virtually, I'm just thinking exceptionally deeply. And that has turned into the highest form of stimulating dopamine I've ever had in my entire life. I get quite literally a million times more stimulated just thinking and about what I need to do and thinking of the outcome and all these other things. And kind of, I mean, you could call it mentally masturbating about the future if you want. And that could be a negative in some way, shape, or form. And it probably is. I just know that is better than scrolling on my phone. And I think it feels a hell of a lot better as well. And it allows me to see what I need to do on a day-to-day basis to get to that future that I'm really looking towards. So if you're on the other side of the screen thinking, damn, Josh, I really want to do that as well, I think the first step is putting down this freaking device that just sucks you into it and doesn't let you go. I mean, every night I still get the urge to want to scroll on my phone. I just make the active decision not to. And then within a few minutes, I get locked into this freaking groove. Sometimes I fall asleep. Most times I can just freaking think for a long time. It's such a rewarding feeling. And I can see the strides that I'm taking in my life because of it really start to go leaps and bounds further than what I was expecting. I feel like I've aged in the past year, like 11 years. But I'm just going to keep on trying to do what I'm doing, take those micro baby steps every single day. And